Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Dungeons & Dragons show.
We play Dungeons & Dragons.
Yes. Previously in Dice Camera Action. The Waffle Crew spent a day at the beach and then came home to find things at the Waffle House were not good. A confrontation with Warrington Munt ended with him dead after he had undergone the process of ceramorphosis, becoming a giant mind flayer. After he was taken down, the Waffle Crew realized that the kids were nowhere to be seen. So Evelyn, you activated your winged boots, flew out of the Waffle House into the middle of the summer night, and started to search the neighborhood for signs that they may have fled. You even knocked on Fallow's door to see if they were keeping the kids there. Mm-hmm. But after not finding them there, you went to check other places and continued to check and continued to check, hunting high and low in all the places you think little kids might hide after seeing a 7-foot-tall mind flayer. Trusting that your companions were searching the house. About probably less than an hour into your search, Evelyn, you're flying over the rooftops of Waterdeep. The moon is out, so the tops of the homes are all bright enough lit that you can see them clearly, and you can even see slants of light down in the alleys between the various homes. And it is after a futile search, finding no evidence of the children, that you hear this ripping sound, followed by a huge explosion and a black cloud rising from the Waffle House. And by now you're about 5 blocks away.
Well, that sounds important.
Yes.
Nate drinking.
Yes, so you stop and you turn and you see, once the explosion has passed and this cloud of debris rains down over Troll Skull Alley, you can see that the house is still on fire, particularly the turret, which looks like a candle flame.
Evelyn takes a brief moment to consider whether this looks like an enemy explosion, a Strix explosion, a Paulton explosion, or something.
There's no DF explosion.
No, there's no
DF explosion.
You can make an insight check.
I wonder what all this is about.
Oh my goodness. I forgot my insight mod. What is it? $23.
Shit.
You think it's a gunpowder explosion of immense proportions. You heard a similar thing when Warrington Munt accidentally dropped a keg and it blew up at his feet. This sounds much worse than that. Echoed, and you're hearing it echoing across the city in the dead of night, so that has something to do with it.
Evelyn has a brief moment of joy and recognition because she's really proud that she's learning about guns because it's a new weapon and she feels really insecure about the fact that she doesn't know how this weapon works. So she's like, gunpowder! Oh, gunpowder. And then she flies toward the house. Yeah.
All right. As you make a beeline toward the house, Evelyn, you are in a position to see what appear to be several lights rising up into the night sky from different parts of the city. It's very strange, almost like witch lights or bobbing lights or something.
Is that one like nearby my trajectory on the way home?
Yeah, they're kind of coming from all directions, so some of them are actually kind of heading in this. They're all heading toward the Waffle House.
All toward our house?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
From
yeah,
different
I
parts
want to
of the city.
investigate one of those real quick. So I'm just like, I'm beelining toward the house and I see these lights and I'm like, I'm going to kind of just veer around to see if I can get up close to one.
Okay, you can see that the light is at the tip of a staff being held by a flying wizard.
Good evening, friend wizard. Why are you going toward that house?
That's when you see this big black plume and emberous flames soaring up into the sky above the house. And the wizard just looks at you like you asked the silliest question she's
Right.
ever heard.
Wizards are the fire brigade. I get it. Okay. And she just beelines back toward the house again.
Okay. Meanwhile, back at the house, Diath, Paulton, Strix, the children are all standing over these sort of unsettled patch of cobbles as debris and fiery embers rain down on top of you. And when you turn back to the house, you can see that the 4th floor is practically gone, except for sort of the skeleton frame of some beams and rafters. And the turret is like a Roman candle burning mightily away.
I leave for 1 week.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, does it?
No.
Diath, your room was practically obliterated. You're pretty sure you saw some of your possessions flying through the air onto the rooftops of other buildings.
Yeah, there's a certain sense of devastation in Dieth, but he's also just kind of like, of course, this is why I can't have nice things.
Yeah, but most of your stuff was in chests, right?
Yes, wooden, flammable chests.
They might be fine. They're just on fire. Go get it.
Well, you know, as Evelyn always says, you gotta demo something.
This
like
is
that.
more than that. She didn't say shatter. That doesn't matter.
Look,
She
the
didn't
kids
say
are
not
safe.
to.
The kids are safe. Let's get back in there and try to put the fire
Here,
out.
I don't go in there. It can't hurt me, so I will go in there. Just
That's
wait
a great
here.
idea.
All right.
That I can do.
All right. So Diath and Paulton, you wait outside while Strix goes into the house.
Begrudgingly shuffling into the house.
Okay. Right. Bits of shingles falling all around you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look for anyone's possessions or any, like, I guess and Simon's outside. Was Waffles in there? We don't know.
Waffles was in the house as far as you know, but probably
Okay.
not on the 4th floor.
Okay, then she's okay. All right, I'm just gonna go in there and try, because I don't have any water spells, so that's out of the question. So I'm just I can only make it worse.
Right.
So I'm just gonna look for anyone's possessions that I need to like pick up and bring back down and put out the flames.
Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. Okay. While you're all standing there, so one of the features that used to decorate the roof of the Waffle House were these kind of iron spikes that sort of lined the peak. One of those spikes comes falling down and impales Simon through the shoulder.
While we're outside?
Yep. He's just standing there and ow! And then he just sort of collapses as this thing sticks in him and falls to the ground. Evelyn, you show up. You see Diath and Paulton standing outside the house with the kids. Most of the debris that has rained down has now landed all over the street. You can see sheets and broken old furniture and something that looks like a wooden mannequin with a bunny ear sticking out of its head, half burned and charred, and other things that you didn't even know were in your house, now splayed out for all to see. And you can see that all of the neighbors have either stuck their heads out of windows or come out onto the street as well. And you see Simon bleeding out on the ground.
My son! And she runs to him and lays on hands.
Okay.
He only has like 10 hit points.
Fewer than that now.
Well, I mean, like max.
Yeah.
Oh, fewer than that max now.
Since becoming a boy, he has fewer hit points than he did when he was a construct.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Great.
fleshy kid. He's not going to have like, level 1 warrior.
I just
Right.
want to know how many hit points I should lay on him.
Well, when you come upon him, you're lucky that you are here when you did, because he could have easily been killed by that if he doesn't receive some amount of healing immediately.
She does that while she kind of looks at the rest of the party, like with this disapproving glance. Like, comes home to the babysitter, like with the kid bleeding. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
Just like as she's
Thank goodness you showed up.
And
It was awful.
So you think, given Simon's size and how strong he is, like 5 hit points will probably be enough to restore him.
okay.
But you'll also want to take this spike out of his torso.
She puts her hand on like the base of the spike and looks at Paulton while she rips the spike out.
And Simon just kind of does this convulsion.
Oh god.
I didn't put it there.
What
It could have been
happened?
anyone.
Well, as soon as that happens, and Evelyn shows up, Diaz immediately like kind of takes the other kids and like shuffles them under like some cover or something, or like out of the street from debris and things.
It's at this point, Evelyn, that you realize you seem to have inherited another kid, because Martin Trek, the young boy that you gave Juniper to, is with your kids. Although he looks worse for wear than the last time you saw him. Even when he was Simon's prisoner, locked in a box, Martin didn't look as sickly and unkempt as he does now.
Evelyn just kind of gathers all the kids, like, come here. It's okay. Come here. Okay, Evelyn will hold you. Just come here. What happened?
I can explain.
Paulton can explain.
I can explain. But now is not the time. We need to make sure the house is okay. So everyone gather up what you need, and we need to make sure that everyone's safe. I could totally explain right now. I am not stalling to try and figure out how I'm going to explain this later. We just really need to stay on top of the situation at
Evelyn
hand.
ignores him and looks at Diaz and goes, what happened?
He's
so beside himself, he has no idea. Look at him. I like put my hand on his face. It's like, look at him, the poor boy. He doesn't know what happened. He just watched a smaller, poorer boy just get impaled. These children, they know not what they see. Their innocent eyes have been violated.
I agree with Paulton on this one. We should make sure everything's okay first, then we'll talk.
You probably hear from the
Give him a little,
inside.
hair ruffle.
It's fine. I'm just on fire a little.
Strix, you go up to the second floor and into Waffle's den, and you can see that the owlbear is buried under a fort that she's made of all the things in her room.
Oh no! I'll just walk up there. Are you all right, Waffles?
Her bum is sticking out the back, but her head buried under a whole bunch of stuff, and you just see a beak sticking out.
All right. Oh, I'll give her Beak a little rub and give her a snack and just be like, I'm sorry, Waffles. This isn't the best place for an owlbear, and it never really has been. But, we're doing our best.
Isn't that the way it is?
Yeah. Sorry, girl. Let's give her a little ruffle.
Okay. When you're there and you're kneeling down beside her and giving her a ruffle, she kind of stands up a little and shakes off all the stuff that she buried under, having now the confidence to emerge.
Okay, good girl. You learned great from that ability I taught you earlier, which is dig and panic. Good job. You learned so well.
All right.
You
hear sort of clunking down onto the roof, or sorry, the floor above you, what sounds like debris, and you can hear fire above you.
All right, I'll just be like, stay here, make sure, get back under your panic hut like we talked about, and I'm going to go upstairs and hopefully, I don't know.
You think it would probably be safer for her if you were to lead her out down the back stairs and out of the building.
Okay. All right. I thought about that. All right, here we go, Waffles. We're going outside.
She'll follow you out and down the stairs.
All right. Is this to where everyone is standing?
No, it's kind of you're now come down to the side of the building, and you kind of have to make your way around toward the front. But you can see that Troll Skull Alley is full of people now, staring in wonder. And it is around this time, as Evelyn is questioning Paulton and Diath, and Strix is emerging from the building, that all of these wizards with lit staves and wands are flying over the building and look like they're about to cast spells. And you begin to see the clouds in the sky gather.
That's cool.
Artificially and powerfully, and become dark and full of rain.
Strix is just like, whoa, it's so cool.
Oh, they're gonna
I
make
love
it
how all of us
rain.
are like, disaster, disaster, and Strix is like, ooh, magic.
Ooh.
I think after Dieth and Paulton were less than forthcoming,
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn would kneel down to Martem and be like, "Hey, Martem, how you doing? What are you doing here? Are you okay?"
Oh, hey, I remember you.
You sound so much different than you've grown up.
I was in a weird place with a scary wizard lady. It was like this house, but not this house. There was web and spiders, and I've been really hungry. And she was mean, and also like to choke slam halfling ghosts. But then those people showed up also in there, but I was also hanging out with Simon and Jenks, and they're really cool too. But don't worry, they got us out, and they did a little spinny thingy like whoosh, and we came back here, and then everything went boom.
Paulton's like, more or less, actually, yeah.
Okay. You tend to get kidnapped a lot, don't you?
You don't remember being kidnapped.
Oh no.
Oh, well, other than the once by Audra.
Oh,
He doesn't
right.
remember being kidnapped by Simon?
Okay, just the Audra one? Okay.
Well, this is the one time. I wouldn't do it again.
I mean, right, kidnapped is a weird way to put it, but, you know, being held in a house against your will kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Where's your family?
Ah!
They're dead.
They're dead.
Why?
Which makes it easy to get kidnapped.
I guess so. What? Do you live here now?
Okay.
Well, okay. Of course. Evelyn like pulls him into a hug and kind of pets his head, and she's like, "Of course you live here now. We'll
What?
take good care of you."
Of course he lives here now.
Simon's like, I'm still feeling kind of hurt over here.
I gave you all the healing you need, little one. Do you feel emotionally hurt? Come here. Give Mama a hug. Here, come into my hug with Martin. She tries to.
Simon sort of pushes Martin aside
Hey!
and embraces you.
She pats his head too and snuggles him.
Squidly sees fire, is just like, ooh, and is like walking toward it.
I mean, whatever. It won't hurt him.
Okay. The wizard's clouds spiral over the house. The wind picks up and rain begins to pitter, 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 pitter fall out of the sky down upon the house.
Making it rain on them house.
Yep. You think that this storm is going to grow in force and strength over the city and hopefully douse the fires that are currently burning down your turret.
Thank you.
Paulton approaches Evelyn. It's just like, all right, now that situation's covered, I guess I can explain.
Okay.
So, I don't know what he did, or I don't know how he did it, but there was a masked man.
God damn it.
No one knows who he is. He's some sort of vigilante. He doesn't play by anyone's rules, but he comes in and serves what he thinks is his version of justice, and it's arguable. It's debatable.
You've heard
It
of
could
this
be-
man before? Like there are legends of him?
There very well might be starting very soon after what he did to our house.
Oh.
He's
What did he look like?
he wore a black cloak. He just blends into the shadows. Very handsome.
Your
Could
black
only see.
cloak?
No. Well, I don't have a. No. Of course not. It's very handsome. Good jawline. Definitely. A very healthy height. You know, probably like 6'1", 6'2". You know, people will say like 5'10", but you know, it's a little more than that. It's just, but without a
Doesn't
doubt,
seem
there's.
very relevant.
D&D is over.
It's a
Oh
little
my
rough.
God. Ever be serious for one moment in your entire life?
I'm talking about the man who did this. No one knows who he is, but he is the knight.
So you're saying that there's some sort of vigilante that wanted to come blow up our house?
It might have been to stop the attackers. I don't know.
There were attackers?
It came at a cost, but he fought bravely. And you know what? I side with him. Oh, yes, there were attackers, too. Sorry, that wasn't mentioned.
The storm grows in intensity. More rain falls. Quite heavily
Evelyn
now.
just looks more confused by this explanation.
Strix is going to lead Waffles to the front,
Okay.
where everyone else is.
Okay, you're due.
It's fine. I'll take it from here. But yes, there was a dark-cloaked, handsome masked vigilante, protector of the city. Maybe we'll see him again someday. Who knows?
You saw him, too.
Yep.
Wow. Who is he? And what does he want? Probably what's best for everyone. I don't know.
Well, maybe we should talk to him, get him to join forces with us.
No, I don't think that would be necessary. He comes off as someone who wants to work alone and also not ever be in the same room with me at the same time.
Yeah, that'll definitely not happen. Look, deep
I
within...
still don't really understand what happened to blow up our house. And also, it would be important for me to understand because I'm pretty sure that the city guard is going to start asking questions because I don't think you can just like blow up a house and have all the wizards come and put out your fire without having to answer some questions.
I'll talk to the city watch. But...
Oh, there they are.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Their arrival was inevitable.
Curse your son, but inevitable betrayal.
Look, deep within Warrington's room was some sort of strange mannequin-like device. We heard it whirring before we even got there in the first place.
Yes.
That means it was used before we did, or Strix did.
Mm-hmm.
That was me using it. Yeah, remember I disappeared.
Oost.
Yeah, we got sent into like some other dimension. I don't know if it was the Shadowfell or something. It was spooky with a bunch of spiders. And Audra, the wizard that had the rug delivered to our house, apparently lives there. I stole her book though, so hey. Also, yeah, she was invisible. You were right.
Look, no, the point is, when I first got there, like I heard that machine going. It was
Correct.
used before any of us.
Yes.
No, I did it. It was me, right?
Before you.
Before you.
Wait, before me?
Yes.
Was she nice?
No.
No.
Activating
Well,
it.
we didn't meet her.
Well, activating that
Got her book.
Activated some kind of portal, which set us into a different dimension or something that's very close to this place, but very different, very Shadowfelly and dark and evil for sure. But Audra Nell was certainly here. That's where Martin was, and the kids were also pulled into this place. Ooh, they managed to fend for themselves and protect themselves.
They were in another dimension.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty tame for most of the stuff that's happened to us, but yeah.
Yeah, Audra Nell was there, and she was still able to attack us from whatever that other dimension is, including Dr. Seximoff, who also showed up. It was very...
Dr. Seximoff?
Yeah, he was very interested in the mind-flared cadavers. But that's not all. This other dimension, it was like this place, but I guess evil. It was ruled by a Death Knight, a dragon, and Evelyn of Shar.
At which point, a lightning bolt comes down from the clouds, strikes the tower, and blows its top off.
Oh.
And one of the wizards calls out, "Oh, sorry!"
No worries.
And
Didn't need it anyway, I guess.
we just lost like our one port key to whatever the other place is.
That's not true. I have this, and I pull out the tuning fork.
Oh, that's right. We managed to... Strix was able to obtain a lot of things from Audra Nell.
Also, my new stick lets me go to different planes.
Just a quick question. Who is Evelyn of Shar? And why does she pronounce her name so weird?
Right.
You guys really need to work on filling me in.
The guards come over to question you.
Yeah, Strix could definitely fill you in. I'll be right back. Go to-
All right.
Strix is like, ooh, you weren't there for that, were you?
For what?
She does this.
Really anything.
So it was a construct that, so these hags made clones of us, because we have soul worms in us from when they visited us at night.
This is where the camera pans away, and the voice Strix's voice becomes a little bit more muted, and you can't hear it because it's all stuff that everybody already knows.
Yeah.
It's just Evelyn's voice interjecting. What? How did?
Exactly.
Just like as she's explaining it, like Paulton directly approaches the camera. It's like, all right, the rest of you are filled in on this, so we're just gonna like.
All right. Long story short, the storm continues through the nights until the wizards basically summon it, and they kind of let it run its course at this point, and it dampens the house. It drenches the fire, extinguishing it completely, so that only smoke rises from the structure by morning. Dieth, after flashing your badge and exchanging a few words, you are pretty much left alone.
One of the things I want to make sure that I get across to them is to get messages to the different, to like the Black Staff and the different Wizards guilds who have been investigating Audra Nell about this new information that we have, or potentially even pieces of this weird mannequin construct that we found.
Okay. They'll recover that since it's lying in the street.
Yeah.
And see that that's delivered to the Watchful Order for examination, since the mages are probably better equipped to take care of that. But they will also they'll tell you that an investigator will probably be assigned to follow up on the Audra Nell matter and to get all the information you know about her.
Yeah, great.
Strix is also probably going to give them the book that she obtained.
Oh, okay.
Because she can't read it.
All right.
So
they will take the book into their possession. While this is going on, other members of the City Watch Dieth are talking to all of your neighbors. You don't know what they're talking about. You can see the neighbors the neighbors aren't happy, and in some cases are yelling at the guards. But the guards basically create a buffer between you and them, and eventually all the neighbors are asked to go back to their lives.
That's right, the official City Watch business.
Like neighborhood PR.
Yeah, exactly.
Can she do a little like shoulder patting and like, just like, oh man, what we're all in this neighborhood together, and isn't that just the way sometimes where your house blows up? And I'm sure we'll be all right. Thank you.
can Strix try and give them some pies so to smooth things over?
You mean on the ones that she has in the tap room on the first floor? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the people, when you hand the pie to them, says, "What the fuck? Is this glass?" and pulls shards of glass out of this pie.
No, that's not glass.
And then you realize that this is, at one point, a couple sessions ago, Paulton, when he was enveloped in the rug, broke the glass on the case.
God damn it.
And shards of it must have gotten lodged in the pies.
I take the glass and I go, it's not glass, and eat it. It's crunch, crunch, crunch. It's not glass at all.
They just stare at you and see if you actually swallow it.
I do.
Just as a fun fact, not that anyone at home can ever try this, but if you chew glass enough, it turns back into sand.
That's
Just
true.
saying. So.
I don't. It's hidden under my tongue.
Or shatters your teeth, one or the other.
It's hidden under my tongue.
Yeah. It turns out your glass shard pies aren't the big hit that you thought they were.
I just take them all back and I like find a piece of burning rubble like on the property and just throw them in there.
All right. Evelyn and Dieth, you both discover that your rooms have been destroyed. Evelyn's because yours was right under Warrington Munt's room, which was ground zero. So the entire floor fell in and basically crashed into your room. Burning timbers from the roof then fell on top of it, igniting anything in the room that you considered to be of, that could be saved.
She walks into the center of the room and kind of does like a slow turn.
You can't even open the door to your room all the way. You just sort of look in and see all this crashed down rubble and burning timber.
And for a second, it looks like she's like devastated because you know how much care she's put into decorating this room. But she picks up a charred, like half of a wall hanging that says, "Live."
Athander.
and she kind of looks at it and she goes, "Well, it was time for a redecoration anyway." And she just like starts jaunting around and doesn't seem to be bothered at all. She's like, "What an opportunity."
Right? Demo to something, right?
Demo to Reno. Yes.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's
Dieth
it.
will try to go to his room to see if there's anything that can be recovered.
What room?
Ain't there. There's literally nothing. No floor, no walls, no just little bits of roof and rafter and the chimney.
What about the little box with the puppets?
Nothing.
Yeah.
You open up the door and you could just fall right into Paulton's room.
Well, I know things were blown away as well. Can I see anything from the rooftops here that maybe they were like tossed aside?
Well, there's still a lot of smoke issuing from this floor, but you kind of gaze out through the smoke cloud onto the neighboring rooftops. Make a perception check.
Yeah. Oops. Pretty good.
Okay.
22.
Okay. That might be Mr. Shambleface lying on somebody's roof over there.
Yeah.
Just kind of burning a little, or smoldering a little in the rain.
You know what?
The rain's probably washing it down into the gutter of that roof.
I think it's about time that thing burned away anyway. All right. Well, if nothing on the rooftops, I guess as we'll clean stuff up, if I happen to see or find anything, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Paulton, we should do a fundraiser, like a fundraiser stream on your witch stream.
That sounds fantastic.
For renovations.
That sounds really good. That
Yeah,
sounds
maybe
really
people would want to donate if they knew just like what had happened, and we could all perform on stream. Maybe we could do like one of those
Oh
endurance
my god.
where we go like for 24 hours.
Strix is hearing this and is like, no, and she's gonna go fly up in the air and look for stuff on the roofs too.
Make a perception check.
God.
I could also pick up some extra gigs, and we could. Those tend to go well now. So I'm sure people would be more than happy to help. Paul and Seppa of Waterdeep get a floor back to his house.
That's a 14.
That is also a rental.
All right. You do find some debris on the rooftops that you're sure was probably in your house at one point, but nothing that you would consider worth salvaging. Back at the house, it's clear that the only bedrooms that survived were Strix's and the kids, and Waffles, basically the second floor rooms.
Well, as the scriptures tell us,
Here we go.
sometimes the sun burns so bright in one's life that it will burn you down to the foundation. And from that foundation, a new self can grow. And that's what's going to happen here. A new home for all of us.
I'll just sleep in the tap room.
Okay.
Same. Wait,
Why don't we, for old time's sake, why don't we sleep in Paulton's hut? We can have a sleepover with all the kids.
Paul's like, my what? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember
I
when
can
we used
do
to
that.
do that?
Oh. I feel
No,
like helpful.
the kids need their own room. We can't all be in the same room.
Yeah.
I guess we could all stay in Waffles' room.
The kids can have their own room, and we'll have the hut.
I could banish the kids. That's kind of like them having their
Stop
own.
it!
Okay.
Honestly, the kids will sleep anywhere. They're fine.
Evelyn's just kind of like clinging to all the kids, like, oh, what if they get in danger again?
The only bed that's left in this entire house is my bed. And I fought for that bed, and it's my bed. That was my own bed, and it was my own things, and that's the. So the kids can have that.
Wait, what's left of my room?
Your room has all of Diath's room in it currently.
Okay, upgrade.
Well, not so much. There's nothing really salvageable in your room that you could possibly sleep on. It's just full of Evelyn's debris.
Great.
Yep.
It's all like golden, shiny, and burned.
Yeah.
Squidly walks out, and he's just got one little flame on his horn. Just that was fun. I like fire. I'm gonna look more into this.
Next day, sorry.
I was gonna say Strix is just gonna start also cleaning out all of the skulls and gross shit out of her room. Be like, no reason to keep this in here anymore. It's not mine.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
It has. This is the day of the beach party.
Sure was.
Gosh,
Get some rest.
this is.
All right.
Let it be known that Chris Perkins could not let us have a day of just a beach party. It had to be 3 episodes because we also had to have our house explode.
I didn't push the button. So, Dieth, in the early hours of the morning, there's a knock on the door. It's one of your neighbors. They say something of yours, some sort of heavy chest is lodged in their roof.
Oh.
They estimate the damage is probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 gold. So,
okay.
And they stand there.
I don't really have that money at the moment.
I'll just keep the chest.
Oh, well, it's really better if you...
He leaves.
Just give them something in the chest.
Oh, just wait. Depending on what chest it was, there might have been money or valuables in that chest. If I could just take a look at it, I would happily give you one of those. If there's anything.
And he lets you follow him to his house, leads you up to the second floor, where you can see the chest is basically, and leads you up into the attic. And you can see that the chest is lodged in the roof, and it is the big chest with all the stuff in it.
Okay.
It was so heavy it punched a hole.
I'm going to check the inside of it, see if everything is still in there.
Yeah, with his help, you can kind of dislodge it from where it's wedged in the roof, bring it down into his attic, and then open it to see, since everything was packed so well in there, and I assume you put it all back.
Yeah.
That none of it seems to have suffered any damage.
Oh, that's good.
The chest itself is a little damaged from its flight.
Yeah, I'm sure the nice friendly warning to thieves on it is probably just fine too.
It's that warning is a little kind of blackened, so it's hard to read, but yeah.
It's there though. All right, Dieth will just be like, all right,
he looks again at the hole in his roof.
I'm sorry. Here, he'll open it up, and I take out the, probably the whistle in shape of the wolf, and just be like, this is a very, very valuable, fine craftsmanship trinket, and you could sell this on the market for far more than 100 gold.
He sort of looks at it and goes, "What else is there?" I mean, he doesn't seem too enamored with the whistle.
Diaz goes back in and just goes, "There's a spyglass."
What's that big jug thing? Is that like old?
Your defeat.
Yeah, it's super old and has a lot of cool like inscriptions on it. Probably a lot of unknown history that scholars would be very interested in.
I think that would make a good gift for a friend of mine. I'll take that.
Can I interest you in this? Diaz hangs up the noose.
He looks a little surprised and scared of you all of a sudden.
Intimidate.
Sorry, it was a bad joke. Sorry. Diaz will hand him the jug. Just be like, yeah, that's okay.
Bonk.
Just make sure it gets. It's a very, very nice jug, very valuable, practically priceless. Just be smart with it.
And he says, "Do you need help moving that?"
Yeah, please.
All right.
Diaz like pathetically tries to tug at it
Yeah.
himself.
All right. He gets him and his son to help you carry it back to your place, and they drop it on your stoop.
All right, thank you.
They leave.
I'm sorry again.
You drag it in
Yeah.
to the tap room.
Strix is like, what's that noise?
All right. It is at that point, Diath, that you realize, oh my gosh, it's very soon going to be dawn, and you have an appointment.
Ah, God. I barely slept.
You haven't slept at all, hardly.
All right. Are people awake right now?
Do I hear loud sighing?
Well, Strix is upstairs on the second floor. She's out of sight, but there's probably there's a Paulton hut, probably in the middle of the taproom floor.
Okay.
Oh no, everyone's sleeping in that hut.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we decided. We're all in there.
Then they're all in the waffle
It's
hut.
a sleepover.
Yeah, and Evelyn
Right.
is loving it.
Dieth will just be like, I gotta go on my morning errands. I'll be back soon.
Do you need a pie?
I already got some, but thank you.
I know that was a lie.
Don't touch my chest.
All right. 6 black dice go tumbling onto a table, seated behind which is Mother Talastin Adaragon, the blind drow high cleric of the spires of the morning. The storm from the night before has blown past, and the morning light shines through a window down upon these black cubes, on which you can see are white inscriptions that Mother Talastin sort of puts her fingers on to read them. For she cannot see what the dice say, but she can feel what the dice say. And Dieth, as you gaze down upon the table and see the dice that have been cast, there are 6 of them. One has a spider, another one has a spider, one has a sun, and then there's another sun, and then there's something that looks like a web, and something that looks like an eye.
Did you know that those kind of dice actually exist? They're called Dots RPG, and you can find them at shapeways.com. They're really cool braille dice. You should check them out.
As the dice are cast, the door to Mother Talastin's office opens, and a priest comes in. He's got a thick gold necklace made up of little interlocking suns over his garments. And he's holding a cushion in front of him with a mithril diadem, a crown of elven craftsmanship resting upon it. And he sets it down on the table within your view and Mother Talastin's. And Mother Talastin says to you, Dieth, "This mithril diadem was worn by the elf princes of Illifarn. It has sat in our treasury for ages. It is worth at least 50,000 gold." To which the priest says, "Your Eminence, I must protest. This relic accounts for half the value of our treasury. We can't afford to give it up to this insanity." "Au contraire," she says, "we have hoarded it long enough. The dice have been cast. Lightfall is in our great interest, and like our faith, it must be restored."
Dieth will take a moment to say, I figured even you would understand that money is nothing compared to the actions of others.
And you're saying that to
the butthole guy who's like, don't give a
he looks at you, his face reddens, but he does not speak. But in a moment, for a flicker, he sort of darts his eyes away at the dice and then at the sun streaming through the window and realizes you may indeed have a point. Mother Talastin, not looking at the dice, not looking at anything but the air in front of her, says, "The dice say you will have a safe journey, but only if you travel with a guardian. He will come to you and watch over you with his one good eye. To turn him away would be to court disaster."
All right, well, where can I meet this guardian?
he will come to you.
Okay. All right. Should I expect him soon, or?
She looks at, or not, well, she doesn't look. She just sort of points to the dice in front of her.
What am I
And she
looking at?
says, you're looking at what she cast earlier. Spider, spider, sun,
Yeah,
sun, web,
I know.
eye.
Dieth is still just like, what am I looking at?
And as you look down at these black dice and this eye staring back at you on one of them, she says, not very long.
All right. I can't thank you enough.
To see this relic restored, it is an honor to be able to help.
I know it served not only myself and everyone in the land and Lathander very well.
Of course. And when it is remade, please tell Evelyn that we wish to see her again.
Of course. Of course, she'll know.
And you can see that she gets up out of her chair and turns toward the light streaming through the window and goes over to kind of soak up the warmth, as it were. The priest just sort of stays there awkwardly, takes one last look at this prize on the cushion, and then lifts up the cushion to you so that you can take it and or the diadem.
Yeah, and Dieth will like kind of gently take the cushion, and almost right away like take like a small cloth or something from his pack or pouch or something, and just kind of like cover it to like further protect it before he stashes it away.
All right. And as you grab it, you see the priest doesn't let go. Right away. And then you pull it away. Finally, he releases it.
Yeah.
It's like giving up a fragment of his soul.
Yep.
And that seems to be the end of the conversation as far as Mother Talastin is concerned.
All right. Dieth will give his final thanks and take his leave.
Okay. From there, you make your way home. So some information for you. You've already made arrangements with the smith, with the weaponsmith.
Yes. Did I have like a ETA on that, and they were just awaiting proper payment, or?
Essentially, you'll make payment when you meet the weaponsmith, who used to reside in Waterdeep, but no longer does so. Apparently because of some disagreement he had with the guild.
All right.
So this weaponsmith is a sun elf. His name is Isian Salansi. And he lives in a village called Rassalanter, which lies to the north of Waterdeep, about 40 miles away. So almost a 2 days travel, first up the high road, and then when you get to the branch, to the long road, you take the long road north to Rassalanter. It is on the way to Amphale, a town you know of to be where Evelyn's family hails.
All right.
And Rassalanter, you've done your research. It's a very, very small village, basically a roadside village. It's got one inn called the Sleeping Dragon, which is basically the only public accommodations in the village. And then there's an old ruined keep of which little remains. And Isian has moved into an old tower beyond the keep. You're not sure why he chose such a remote location, but he is the finest weapons crafter Waterdeep has known in recent history.
All right. I'm sure you can do it.
All right.
Great.
And he's already been alerted. You know that much. He's already said yes, he would do it once he receives payment.
Got it. Okay.
The priests of the temple use sending spells to basically reach out to him.
Okay. Does he have everything else as well, or not?
You have all the components.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well. Cool. I guess I'll start heading back home.
All right.
I
The rest of
wonder
you
where
wake up
Carl is.
wondering where Diath went off to. He's got all these important matters to deal with these days.
So too good for us. So fancy.
Evelyn's just in a tangled pile of all the kids, like drooling.
Strix is just going to go right back into the kitchen and clean up the glass. I think prestidigitation can clean that up. I don't know. She's going to try.
Okay.
Evelyn's looking around and she's like, Strix, what should I do to help with getting
Evelyn, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Well, I don't think we can wait until Paulton plays a bunch of shows to like pay for the repairs. Do you remember that patron that helped us fix it last time? Do you think they want to do it again?
Oh, Agra? That I think that's her name.
Otherwise, I could maybe go to the temple and see if maybe they have some sort of assistance they could give us.
I think our best bet right now is to just open up the bakery again and try and sell some pies to the neighbors.
We can have a
Donate us.
fire sale. Get it?
Yeah, we can have a fire sale. That's what we can do.
I'll make signs right now. Evelyn's
Yeah,
making
just
signs for-
yeah.
All right. Diath, you return.
Strix has a pie ready, and she's like, "You lied."
You got me. Diath will, I guess, just just back from my errands. Glad you guys are up. Thanks for making
Anything
food.
interesting happening about town this morning, Dia?
Mostly trying to figure out how we're gonna get all this paid for and fixed.
Should we write to Magnus?
I mean, I could talk to him and ask him. Maybe he knows repair guys.
We probably should. I mean, him being our landlord and such, he probably should just
Who
apprised.
repaired this place the last 5 times?
Ulcoria made arrangements with local
That's it.
guilds.
Ulcoria. That's her name. Ulcoria.
The local
Not-
guilds have to get involved, of course. It's a little bit political sometimes, but you can smooth that over with some bribes.
Yeah, at this point, we're getting really low on funds, guys.
What
I
if
think-
we rebuilt it out of stone?
Maybe, I might be able to animate some objects to help us rebuild things, if I think about it.
Would I happen to have like a cursory guess or estimate of how much repairs would cost for all of it?
Given the damage, you would probably estimate the cost of repairs at about 2,500 gold there, give or take.
Yeah, guys, we're getting really low. I mean, we can get this paid for and repaired at the very least, but we're not going to have much left after that.
All right. Well, I said that I can animate some things. Paulton, you can animate some things. We can animate lots of things.
Chris, do I know if the if that cloak survived?
No!
You're probably up there now looking around for it, like just realizing, oh my God, the cloak. You go upstairs and you start to dig around through the wreckage of your room, and yes, you do find it, and yes, it did survive.
Okay, great.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
When you come back downstairs, do you have the cloak with you, or are you just hiding it somewhere?
I have not come back downstairs yet.
I see. Okay.
Do I know if it's possible to animate some objects to build for us?
Most of the objects that you can animate lack some fine motor skills that you would want to have to basically build a house. That
That's
doesn't mean you
fair.
can't use it to move things around. Like, hey, nobody has to carry that ladder. I can just animate it.
Right. All right. What about chickens? Could chickens help build something?
Well, you're the expert on that, Holly. I don't know.
I'm going to say that they are a lot smarter than we think they are.
Okay. They,
And that,
they just lack
they're-
focus and leadership.
yeah, so their little beaks can at least, yeah. So little beaks can help carry things up, and they can float. They're spectral. I don't know.
Okay.
Strix is going to try all of these things in all sorts of hilarious conundrums and montage of that.
All right. So when she's not cleaning up after breakfast, she's just animating random stuff to see what she can get away with.
Right, and
Okay,
chickens.
and
There's
chickens.
chickens and animated things and
All right. Yeah, you chickens, you can make eggs, you can make houses, right? Same thing.
Yeah, some chick saying, like, it'll be fine. You can pick this up, right? And they're like, "Brr, brr, brr, brr."
Okay. While this is going on, the kids are probably upstairs playing amid the wreckage.
Paulton, do you want a drink?
Paulton's upstairs. He's gone.
Okay, I'm going for a drink.
Okay, you go for a drink, and when you pour it, you turn around.
Well, it goes down to like the downstairs,
The basement.
the like where we hold all the winery.
Okay,
And
in the cellar. Got it.
Yeah. Whilst down there, he retrieves a few hidden objects that he's safely stashed away.
All right.
So many secrets.
And
DS Secrets
comes
Woodrow.
back up with a wine.
When you come back up, you can see that Jarlaxle is seated in Paulton's chair.
Of course.
Again.
Evelyn is not present, is she?
Dieth is the first one to see him. But as soon as he starts talking, Evelyn, you recognize the voice. You're probably in the kitchen helping Strix clean up the dishes and everything while she's busy talking to chickens. But you hear his unmistakable voice greet Dieth in its warm, oozy way.
Immediately looking at Jarlaxle, what does his face look like?
Sort of a purplish hue, eye patch,
There it is.
and a hat, a big wide-brimmed hat with a feather, a colorful feather.
It's just like, of course. Of course. Jarlaxle? He'll like go to the table, sit down, set the wine between them.
He'll take the wine and drink it, put it down and shove it back over to you.
Yeah.
It is good to see you, my friend.
To what do I owe the honor?
You know why I'm here. I must protect my investment.
How kind of you. This should be a relatively quick trip. I don't foresee any dangers. I don't.
Yes, of course. We are partners, if not friends, n'est-ce pas?
Yes.
And Evelyn, you hear that voice.
Jarlaxle's here! Oh my gosh, Jarlaxle, I haven't seen you since we had that great talk about Lathander the other night. How are you doing? How is your pursuit of the light?
Dieth gives Evelyn like the biggest slow turn.
Jarlaxle will stand up and he will take his hat off and he will bow to you, Evelyn, and he says, please, please come over, won't you join us? And he'll pull out a chair for you.
Oh, thank you. She sits down.
He'll push you in a little bit. And he says, you received an invitation to the auction, did you not? To Dieth. If we are to return in time, we must travel with haste.
We received it, right? I'm pretty sure we did.
We
Yes,
did, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, got the invitation, and we're still making arrangements. And yeah, this is something I've been trying to get done for a long time now.
And he'll plop back down into Strad von Cherevich, kind of rub his hands on the comfortable armrests.
It's a nice chair, isn't it?
Oh yes, very nice.
I might be able to make arrangements for horses to help expedite travel.
And he loses interest in the details and turns to Evelyn and starts to comment about how radiant she looks and how the sun itself does not warm his heart as she does.
You're just so kind. But of course, as you know, the only sunlight that comes from within is that of Lathander.
Paulton, your dark sense is tingling.
So after Jarlaxle says that, John gets a disgusted look before he catches on. So he's kind of like, ugh.
So after he says that, with like the whole foundation of the house just like being really withered and the floors being unstable, like as soon as he says that, Paulton just kind of crashes through a floor and just lands face. It's like, ah! Why am I in here? It's probably plot. Oh,
Paulton, Jarlaxle is here. Isn't that nice? He came to visit.
it is. Who Are you
This is Jarlaxle.
Jarlaxle?
He has an affinity for the sun like I do. I think we were in a battle with him in a park the other day, if you remember.
Yes.
Jarlaxle.
Yeah, you remember where we were, we were walking, we were talking about sunlight.
Oh, were you the light tech at the last show? Is that you?
He just sits there and
No.
smiles.
No, that was shoot. God, I'm so sorry.
Your memory just is getting real bad these days. You should get that checked out.
I just meet so many people nowadays. Being, Paulton Seppa of Waterdeep, the capital V of Waterdeep.
That's true. He is so famous now. He must have so many people to remember. I'm surprised he even remembers me.
I hate the term famous, but I mean, please. Gosh, now I'm on the spot here. Anyway, what do you want?
He sort of leans back in Strad von Cherevich and says, I am here.
Strad von Cherevich just like dumps him out.
He anticipates that instantly and hops to his feet and just sort of pushes with the heel of his shoe, pushes the chair back a little bit and stands there like he was expecting that and says, I am here to make sure that the beautiful Lady Evelyn is reunited with her weapon, Lightfall.
What?
Nothing. We gotta go.
Dean says nothing,
you're
then
mistaken.
we probably gotta go.
Lightfall got crushed.
I feel like from the kitchen you just hear, no, you move that the other way. No. Then you just hear chicken noises.
We are all taking a trip to... Where are we going?
How was it pronounced? It was
Rassalanter.
Rassalanter. Okay. Yeah, I had that right.
How would Evelyn react to Rassalanter knowing it's on the way to Amphale?
As you would expect her to. It's on the way home. She knows where it is. She passed through it many times to get to Waterdeep.
Is there anything fun to do there?
Absolutely. Well, the Sleeping Dragon Inn can be a fun place if there are people to hang out with, but it's kind of quiet and provincial, this village. There's not much not much has happened there in a long time.
I guess she would know of that weaponsmith with her affinity for weapons, probably.
The name hasn't come up yet, so you don't know.
Oh, so I don't know he lives there.
He hasn't before.
Oh, right. Okay.
So.
Oh, Rassalanter, not a bad place. We'd go there after some adventures from time to time.
Oh, sorry. I was under the impression that this was just going to be a individual mission. It wasn't. It's very minor.
Oh,
but this is so important. A reunion of great magnitude. Why exclude your friends? Plus, company. What good company? And he leans down to kiss Evelyn's hand.
Yeah, I definitely think we should go on our own.
Like, wait, okay, so this guy showed up to tell that Evelyn has her weapon, Dieth. Okay, so that's kind of the gist, and we have to go somewhere and do something, right?
Well, you can stay if you want, he says to you specifically.
I'm just trying to, because the plot senses were tingling, and this seems like a you thing you got under control, and I had stuff I was doing upstairs, so I'm gonna get back to that. I'm just gonna go back upstairs.
Yeah, stay here with Evelyn and the kids. Strix, you'll need to be here to help run the pie shop as well.
I'm in the kitchen. You gotta come tell me.
All right.
Jarlaxle turns to Evelyn and says, do you not wish to see your weapon reforged?
What? You're mistaken. Lightfall is not. It's in pieces, and Dieth has all the pieces. It's just, it's not something that's fixable. If it were, he would have fixed it by now.
He turns to Dieth.
You heard her. Look, this won't take that long. We can get in, come back, no problem. Let me have this.
I mean, if you don't want me to come, Dieth, I won't. I understand sometimes you have things you need to do alone. I get it.
Can I come?
It's not that I don't want you to come, Evelyn. I just think you shouldn't come with us. Dieth side-eyes Jarlaxle.
See. Okay, well, I'll stay here then.
It's decided.
All right, have fun.
Is no one telling Strix?
Jarlaxle, no, nobody's telling Strix yet.
What the fuck?
But Jarlaxle says, "Oh, my dear, I so wished to make this long journey with you. 2 days.
Yeah. Well, it's a damn shame that she.
2 days there, 2 days back, an opportunity to get out of the city, to see the beautiful landscape."
Well, if you like spending time together, I mean, I'd love to talk more about Lathander sometime. We could just get together when you get back.
I cannot think of anything more that I would like to do than talk about Lathander.
Oh my gosh, I love talking about Lathander. This is going to be so fun.
I can think of far more important things.
There is nothing more important than Lathander.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. Evelyn, there's something I have for you. Diaz will go over to his chest and open it up and take out the book of nursery rhymes and give it to Evelyn.
Well, that's sweet.
Say, this is for you. I figured the
What is she,
rhymes.
5?
Be nice.
Don't be an asshole.
Well, that's what I meant.
You hear Paulton from upstairs. Call him Jar asshole.
Here, Evelyn, I figured, this might be good for you to maybe read to the kids at night, or maybe even teach them to read at all. I don't know if they have that, but I know how hard it is for kids to learn.
Do I notice anything in particular about the book? Is it a pretty just like standard book?
Yeah, it's a pretty standard book of nursery rhymes.
That's real
But
thoughtful.
it looks very old. You don't recognize most of the nursery rhymes.
Oh, well, that'll be fun. I always love learning new stories.
Jarlaxle says, "Yes, well, if we are going to get on our way, Diath, you and I, alone on this long trip."
Did you
That's
call
right.
him that yet? Let me
Then-
know if you do.
We should not waste any more time.
Right, and we have plenty of our own things to discuss along the way.
Yes. But don't worry, my dear. I will ensure that the axe returns to you safe and sound.
Jar asshole.
Why is everyone yelling?
They're going on a trip.
What?
Laxel and Diaz.
No, I'm going. And she like runs in there. She's like already ready. She has like both of her stabs. Like she's like got her hat. She's like ready to go.
We can't want, I guess, but
I'll go.
we also need the pie shop running if we want
It's
to.
all right. The Chicken Foot Covenant they're here. They're here. They can make pies. Albie's got it handled. She points to Albie.
Can they make pies? I don't know. I've been hearing
course
reports
they
about
can.
glass in them.
That was my fault. And then I ate it.
Wait, you ate glass?
I'm okay.
Diaz looks back at Jarlaxle and back at Strix. Actually, Strix, yeah, why don't you come?
I have magic. I can help.
Yeah, I think it could be a good idea.
Okay, I'm just gonna assume someone did it, and it was really funny.
What, Paulson? What?
The nickname.
What was it?
It was Jar asshole.
Oh, okay. All right, Jar asshole. Let's go.
She said it.
You can see that Jarlaxle just gives you a wan smile, just the slightest smirk, like, yeah, I get the joke. And then he turns to Evelyn and says, "We do not have time to waste. We want to be back in time for the auction. It is very important, of course, that we all show up. After all, we are all trying to get the stone together."
Right. And then after that, you and I can go on our Lathander retreat.
Of course, that is the way it should be. And your friend, Paulton, charmer that he is,
Yeah?
he won't be offended.
Well, he doesn't like talking about Lathander. I don't think he'd want to come.
Of course not. He is but the shadow to your sunlight.
I know I can't hear that, but I heard that above game.
Always together, but only if there's something between you.
All right, that's actually a really good illustration.
Wow, I never thought about it like that before.
And then he'll tip his hat to you and turn to Diath and say, "We best not wait any longer."
Yeah, let's go. After you.
Oh, that was the title. Guys,
real
what was
good.
the episode title?
That was real good, Chris.
Oof.
And
Anyways. Strix is coming. Whee!
as Jarlaxle makes his way out, sort of walking right between Diath and Strix, he says, "It is possible not all of us will survive."
That's okay. I have Death Ward.
All of us are surviving. This is a quick trip just to Wrestle Lantern. This is easy.
If you say so.
Are you sure everyone shouldn't come, Diath? I don't want to die.
He'll walk out the door. He's gone. You don't know where he's gone. Apparently out in the sun, which is not usually a drow thing to do.
I hate this guy.
Me too.
Paulton, like, is gonna come down the stairs now. He goes, "Oh my goodness, guys, you won't believe it. I found the cloak of that vigilante,
That looks like your cloak you were wearing.
along with this note that he wrote.
Oh my
He
God.
must have left it.
What's
Should
it
I
say?
read the note? Oh man, I'm glad you asked. Okay, this is definitely not written on a receipt. That'd be weird. It says,
What's a
why-
receipt?
He's like, why am I yelling? Says, to my best friend Paulton. Weird. We barely knew each other, but you seemed like a super cool guy, a stand-up gentleman, one who deserves maybe a little less critique than you receive. Huh. Which is why I will confide this information in you. You seem trustworthy, resilient. I even see a bit of myself in you, but not in like a sexy way, unless you'd be into that, which we could totally do because we are definitely different people. Regardless, I've caused too much damage in your already broken life. Wow, dude. Okay. I wish I could have been a better friend, a more open, honest, and handsome enough friend for you. I'm hanging up my cloak as my career as a masked vigilante is over after many, many years, which is how long I've been doing this, just not in Waterdeep. I leave my cloak to you. Do what you wish. Perhaps it's worth something and can repair the damages I did when I blew up that part of your house. Wow, so it was him. Crazy.
Wow.
I know that this robe would appear to be the cloak of Manchun in both look, feel, battle wear, stitching, powers, abilities, perhaps even smell like him a bit. It totally isn't. Yours truly, the Bard Knight. Huh. Well, how about that? I guess we could sell this cloak.
Strix just looks at Diath and is like, you know what? No, I need some days away from everyone. I think we should go.
Well, look at that. This is probably worth something, huh? Wild.
Well,
Back.
we can take care of that, and we can do some fundraising while you guys are on your trip, right? Right, Paulton?
Yeah, absolutely. That is the plan. Very nice of him.
All right, that works for me. Strix, I still don't trust this man at all. We need to be extra careful around him.
What does extra careful mean? Like Death Ward every day?
Yes. How long does
Okay.
it last?
Until you die?
Well, it has a duration, right?
Yeah, it does. She doesn't. I'll look it up later.
All right.
She just says until you die.
Let's
But I'll
just-
do it every day.
Yeah, let's just be careful about it and stay close because I don't trust him at all.
Right.
8 hours.
All right. Oh yeah, it's a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Every day at dawn. Death Wards for both of us.
All right.
So just so you know, Strix, since you arcana'd this robe, you do think that obviously, or this cloak, if you were to sell Manchun's cloak, you would get a pretty, quite a large amount of money for it. You don't
Okay.
know, you don't know exactly how much, but more money than you've ever seen in your life.
All right. So Strix will yell back at Paulton and be like, Paulton, it's super magic and you can sell it for a lot of money. So don't take less than it's worth.
Wow.
Isn't it evil, though?
Yeah, but I mean, it can be dismantled or something.
Or
like,
sold to someone not evil. It belongs in a museum.
Sure. You might be able to sell it as Manchun's cloak if you make like a little display and maybe a little fake art robot arm or something. And
Oh yeah, we could put it on that mannequin.
yeah.
That'd be a great idea, right?
Mannequin's gone.
Never mind.
If it were still alive.
But yes, it's worth a lot of money. Try and sell it while we're gone, maybe dying.
Cool.
Anyway, bye. Jarlaxle said we might die. We love you all. Bye.
Love you
Bye,
too.
guys.
Don't die.
All right, Strix and Diath, when you step outside, Jarlaxle is on the street astride a ostrich-like bird
Ooh.
with feathers so resplendent as to reflect all the colors of the rainbow. And it's got a big bobby plume.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I see what you're doing here.
No, are you a friend? Oh boy, it's so cute. Just like rubs on my head. Hello, little guy.
Come on, Strix, we're renting horses.
All right. Strix reluctantly goes.
All right.
Strix will just get on her broom. She's like, I don't need a horse. I
Don't
don't.
pay for horses. Morning glory.
No, that'll disappear if it gets far enough. We have what's his name? Harold. What the hell's our horse name? The donkey.
The donkey? I'm renting a horse.
Evelyn and Paulton, are you seeing your friends off, or are you just staying inside?
I think I'm waving at the door. That's how I know that they were saying rent horses.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
I don't think Morning Glory does dissipate when she's away from me, does she?
I'm not sure.
I don't think she does. And she's been around since the beach episode, just chilling out, shaking sand out of her fur. So she's around.
Well, we can take her then.
And Evelyn whispers in her ear,
Let me check
Help
that.
Jarlaxle find the good word of Lathander. He's interested.
I need to check this spell now, if you're going to send it off. The steed serves you as a mount, both in combat. You have a bond with it. While mounted on the steed, you can do this and that and this and that. You can dismiss it any time as an action. While your steed is within 1 mile of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. But it doesn't say that you have to be with it all the time.
right, because I give her the telepathic command now, and then she can just carry it out.
Yep. All right, so you guys the two of you going to ride on Morning Glory?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
We're not made of money these days, you know. Can't just go around renting horses whenever.
Yeah.
Jarlaxle will wave at you, Evelyn.
Like Paulton like nudges in front. It's like, bye, bye, bye. Have fun leaving. Bye.
All right. And then Strix, Diath, and Jarlaxle saunter off.
Evelyn takes note of the fact that Jarlaxle just said that thing about shadow and sunlight and how there's always something in between, and notes that Paulton has put himself in between herself and Jarlaxle. Just kind of looks very thoughtful.
What do you do after they've left?
Badmouth him as much as I can.
Paulton, are we cool?
Hell yeah.
Jarlaxle said that like this whole thing about like shadow and sunlight, like there's just always something in between us. But like I didn't feel like there was anything between us. Like I thought we were cool, other than the whole like, you know, awkward like emotion talk we had like a long time ago. But that's like
that was so many seasons ago, you know.
right. I mean,
I don't trust him to begin with. You know, he's
seeking. You know, he's looking for the light.
Oh, he's looking for something.
What do you mean?
Well, wow, didn't think we'd be having the talk. Okay. So when a dirty, filthy, stinking, lying son of a bitch wants to get with a
which dirty? Who are we talking about?
just, you know, illustratively, just
Okay.
no one specific, wants to court an individual they find desirable, they do this thing called lying, where they take the truth and then say something else, and if they think it would best serve them to get what they want from said person or thing.
You think Jarlaxle's trying to court me?
Think?
Look, have you seen how many people in Waterdeep are, you know, like kind to me or like, you know, reverent or whatever, but nobody actually. Have you noticed that everybody will surface be nice to me, but not actually follow through on anything or actually want to spend any time with me? The only reason that Jarlaxle wants to spend time with me is because he's interested in Lathander. I'm just,
And,
I'm Evelyn of the Spires. Of course everyone's gonna act.
And have you ever even remotely attempted to incite anything he said?
Well, yeah. Whenever he wants to talk about Lathander, I talk about Lathander.
Right. But have you thought about if he means it, or are you just excited about the fact that someone's asking you about Lathander?
Well, why would? No. No one would be that disingenuous about the light.
Right. Of course not.
Strix, Diath, on Morning Glory, you head north out of the city, down into the field ward, then out the gates onto the open road and begin your journey northward. It is a beautiful summer day.
Aw. I keep pointing at things like on the side of the road, like, look at that flower. It's so pretty.
Yep. And Jarlaxle's just gallivanting on his rainbow ostrich creature, and you're beside him on your beautiful, perfect horse.
It's so sunny.
Yeah, it's really nice out.
He's got the wide brim of the hat to help keep the sun out of his eyes. You can see even that he's not entirely comfortable with the brightness of the day, but he tries not to show it.
Mm-hmm.
Strix is just like, Jarlaxle.
You had a bunch of weird looks as you were leaving the city from people who don't usually see a dark elf astride a rainbow ostrich. But now that you're out by yourselves, he's very sort of quiet and just kind of forging ahead. He knows what lies ahead of him and what's to be expected, and doesn't go out of his way to make conversation. There's something about him, though, that's worthy of an insight check.
Done. Got it.
Strix isn't doing. She's going, Jarlaxle.
Somewhere off in the distance, you hear Paulton's voice whispering, "Take the hat off. Take his hat off. It'd be funny."
Strix is like, I'm hearing voices again.
Got a 16?
Okay. He seems deep in thought, but also a little bit, troubled is not the right word, perhaps a little bit slighted.
Oh, no.
And
Nice.
there's an undercurrent to this, Diath, that makes you uncomfortable. Like you're pretty sure that what happened back there is going to have repercussions.
Like back before we left?
Yeah. And the look on the almost inscrutableness of his look, but somewhere under there you can see that he's thinking about that.
Cool.
So, before the end of the day comes, you reach the branch in the road where a signpost says High Road, or actually it says Leyland Neverwinter in one direction, and then Amphail Red Larch in the other.
Oh, Red Larch, we've been there.
And so you veer that way toward Red Larch to get to Rassalanter. Rassalanter will be the first village you come upon on the long road.
Great. I'll still stay as vigilant as possible on our journey.
Having actually been to Red Larch before, you've probably stayed at the Sleeping Dragon Inn in Rassalanter, so that's not a surprise to you.
Strix is going to tell Jarlaxle the whole story about the hells opening up and also the universe ending. She's going to die, just be like, blah, blah, and then that happened until Dia stops her.
Yep.
Okay. Jarlaxle's not really engaging much with Strix. He doesn't want to open that Pandora's box. But you do arrive at Rassalanter safe and sound on the second day after spending the night out, basically just in a field under the beautiful stars. Jarlaxle has still been uncharacteristically very quiet most of the time, but polite, always polite,
Right.
engaging.
All right. After dismounting, I'll tell Jarlaxle, this shouldn't take too long. We'll drop off the things. It'll probably be ready by the time we're leaving tomorrow.
Death Ward. Morning Death Ward.
He just nods, takes his hat off, and fans himself with it.
Yeah. And Dieth will motion Strix to come with him.
Okay.
So then we'll go to the renowned blacksmith that we had made arrangements with.
Yes, past the ruins of the old keep, which has largely been plundered of its stone, into a basically grove of trees, up through there, onto a foothill, on the side of which this old tower stands. And you can see it's weathered the passage of time fairly well. And it's got a big chimney sort of rising up alongside it. And when you knock on the door, a bronze-skinned sun elf, kind of androgynous, really, greets you and ushers you inside. And do you show him what you brought?
Yeah, I'll mention my name right away so that they know about it, and then I'll show the mithril diadem.
Okay. Isian's eyes are almost like pools of gold as he looks at the diadem, something he hadn't expected to see ever again. And he picks it up, he holds it, he admires its beautiful craftsmanship, and then he sets it on a shelf.
I trust this will suffice.
Strix is in there and she kind of thinks for a moment. She's like, I feel like I want to make sure no one comes after us while we're in here. I'm going to stay outside and watch.
Sure. Before you go, Strix, do you still have the things?
The things.
Yeah.
Which things?
From
I have lots of things.
Did you get them back from the C team?
Oh, yes. Oh, those things. Yes, yes, yes. And she like rifles in her robes and she's like, yes, here you go. And she gives him the 2 rings that she got back.
All right, the 2 rings of protection that each of you had worn at one point.
All right.
Not going to forget about that.
All right, this won't take long.
All right.
Go ahead.
Actually, I think what she's going to do is just kind of wait by the door and summon her chickens.
Okay.
Just around the area, just like as an alarm system.
Okay.
And she just kind of looks at Jarlaxle and she's like, don't worry, they know that you're nice.
Jarlaxle's nowhere near here. He stayed in Rassalenter at the Sleeping Dragon.
Okay.
All right, Dieth will reach into his pack and pull out a very old, dirty brown bag with like sounds like clanging metal inside, set it onto the table, and open it up to reveal every broken shard of Lightfall. And then also take the 2 rings and place them with it. And just be like, these are the materials.
Isian will pick up the 2 rings and just look at them side by side, kind of put them together a little bit close, and he says, these rings contain what? Pieces of her soul?
Her soul, infinite light.
That which was given to her by her father and her mother.
Right.
They will become part of this weapon.
Yes.
Her mother, to guide her hand, puts that ring down, and her father to guide her heart. Puts that ring
that's
down.
what I want.
He ushers you upstairs into the tower, at the top of which you can see there is a brazier, and he tells you he's going to use these to melt these items down together.
Yeah.
The brazier is magical, so it will bind the rings to the shards, and then from that, he will make the item. You are free to watch, but you may not talk.
Dieth will just take out a piece of paper with a sort of a sketch that he made of Lightfall, just to be like, this is what it looked like, along with like his best recollection of the scriptures on it.
He says, thank you, that won't be necessary.
All right, and then Dieth will just put it away and just will watch silently.
It will return to its original form, with the power of the rings embedded in it. Strix, you feel magic begin to emanate from the tower.
Oh, I still go, are my chickens disturbed or are they cool?
They're momentarily disturbed, but they get over it. And I would like you to make a perception check.
All right. My chickens are just hanging. God, it's a 3.
Okay. It's so distracting, this pulse of magic, radiating out from the tower that you don't pay much attention to anything else.
Yep, that's true.
But
That's
it just
that's
practically
what happened.
practically thrums with ancient magic.
Yeah, and I'm just like, whoa, wow, what's going on? You hear this really like totally mood breaking, like, whoa, neat from below.
You hear an elven voice inside the tower, sort of hollow and resonant, much louder than it should be, as it begins to encant and chant.
I like call the chickens over. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you're just sort of hovering outside with your chickens, waiting for this to happen, and this continues for an hour.
Wow.
And then it stops, and the magic of the tower subsides. And the next thing you see is Diath coming out with something wrapped in green cloth.
Is it done? What's that?
And Diath, you bore witness to the creation of the item, or rather the recreation of the item.
Did the elf have a baby?
No. Is that what you think baby making? No, don't worry about it.
Sure.
While this is all going on, a couple days have passed back in Waterdeep. What have Evelyn and Paulton been up to? I thought so.
You wanted to sell that cloak, didn't you?
Yeah, that'll help with the thing that I didn't do.
Chris, do I think it would be appropriate to take it to the Spires to see if the Spires wants to add it to their collection of like safely squirreled away relics?
You're pretty sure if you were to bring this to the Spires, they might reject it out of hand because of its evil nature.
Do I feel compelled at all to like destroy it instead of sell it, or do I buy this idea that maybe we could sell it to someone who would just want to collect it?
While it's evil, it has no malevolent intent. But if it ends up in the hands of an evil person, it will make them much, much more powerful. So weigh that as you will.
I know a few really eccentric art collectors in Waterdeep, and I'm sure there's someone who would just love to add this to their collection, have it stand like in a hallway or something, you know?
Right. That sounds very safe, which is why we should totally do it. And I don't think this should ever come back to bite us in the ass.
Well, why would it?
I have no idea. Chris?
So, Evelyn, are you going about this search for a buyer alone, or are you going to drag Paulton along?
No, I'm going to drag Paulton with me for sure.
Okay. You search high and low, some people that you know in the city who might be interested or may know somebody who's interested. As you flash the item around, you get all kinds of reactions. Revulsion, great interest, but it's really, they tell you it's really going to take a wizard to want this thing. It doesn't do much good to anybody.
I also am treating it like I'm a like an art dealer. Like this is my client who owns this piece of art.
Got it. Make a charisma persuasion check to see if you can really get anywhere.
25.
Okay, very good. You are told by 3 different people that while they could help you find somebody who may be interested in buying it, it's going to take a while because the value of it is so high that very few people can actually afford it.
Sounds about right.
So a wizard who has the backing of like a mega corporation or something like that.
Possibly.
Like maybe like an organization that's so pervasive that like the funding is like almost unlimited.
Right.
I feel like you're getting at something. Are you getting at something?
You know, I never met, but Strix told me about this wizard that works for Acquisitions Incorporated. I think his last name was Dark Magic. Maybe he would want it.
This is dark and it is magic.
Right.
Sounds like the perfect candidate.
And I'm sure Omen wouldn't hire anyone who would be evil enough to do something bad with it.
That's Omen's thing.
Right.
What else you got?
What do you mean? It's a great idea.
It's the best idea you could possibly come up with in your opinion, Evelyn.
It's a fantastic idea.
Come on, let's go.
You knock on the door to Acquisitions, Inc. Cut to Strix and Dieth.
That was totally you.
You emerge from the tower. You leave Isian to his solitude. What do you do next?
I leave him a pie.
Okay. Dieth, I would like you to make a perception check.
Okay. I'm good at these.
That's good. You better be.
27.
Okay. As you emerge from the tower with the axe, you catch sight of something moving in the trees down away from the tower, within sight of the tower, but, you know, several hundred feet away. And you thought you caught the glimpse of a dark elf.
The chickens are still here.
And probably not Jarlaxle.
Oh, that's weird. I'm going to quietly alert Strix to this. I don't know if it necessarily means anything. It could just be nothing.
We can leave right now.
Yeah.
As in, we can just leave.
We sure can, can't we?
We sure can.
Damn it. Now we got to get Jarlaxle.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know I'm not happy about it either, but trust me, the last thing we want to do is do anything that would antagonize him.
We're death warded.
Not for now.
We're death warded. Here, why don't we... I'm just going to... As soon as you alert me to something, the chickens are already there, which is good. And I think what I'm going to do is give us some more protection and cast... I'm going to go ahead and cast mage armor on myself. And then also protection from evil.
Okay.
All right. How quickly can we get back to Rastalanta where Jarlaxle is?
You can, since you've got Morning Glory, it'd probably take you like 5 minutes to get back there.
Okay. All right, Strix, hop on.
All right.
It'll like...
I mean, we can fly too. Okay. Wow, this is more fun.
Okay. So you bolt back to the
I trust
village.
the Morning Glory.
The chickens are following, by the way.
Very slowly. You leave them in the dust.
They're like,
And you come skidding back to the sleeping dragon and step inside to find Jarlaxle just sitting at the bar.
all right. Strix runs in. She's like, Jarlaxle, we need to leave now. There are the evil things out there. You can come with us.
He grabs his hat and follows you out.
All right. Well, we don't need to leave. We're just going to leave right now.
Oh.
We're just going to leave right from here. Go to the panic room.
Word of recall.
Yep.
All
Save
right.
ourselves 2 days' time.
Very good. Evelyn, if Omen were to offer you...
Is Omen there, or am I dealing with one of his, like, flunkies?
Well, if you show up, he's there.
Well, because I know that he's, you know...
A busy guy.
I happen to know he's off in Ravnica.
Oh, well. Well, the timing... This is interesting. I have to think about the timing of this.
Yeah.
Because we're not exactly in parallel time-wise.
But I mean, I assume he has someone hired who, like...
Yes, so let's assume for the time being that he has a designated appointee.
Yeah, who's
And,
like...
yes.
When magical items present themselves, they're like the evaluator of the usefulness.
Exactly, right. In fact, let's say it's, Flabbergast. What do you think, Mr. Snibbly? As he looks at this black garment, I think it will fit him rather nicely. And he looks at it, it's quite magical. Would you accept, say, 20,000 for it?
Evelyn's mouth does that little twitchy thing where she's like... Paulton, what do you think?
It's like, interesting.
I mean, there is an affinity between, you know, I was going to say there's an affinity between me and Omen, but let's be real, he never wrote back to me, so maybe he hates me, so never mind. We shouldn't invoke the whole friendship thing.
Well, we're having,
He's rather busy right now,
Well, of course, he's running a very large company.
if you say so.
It's like, well, 20,000 is it's good. Don't get me wrong. We did have another offer that was.
Make a deception check as the cat with the monocle kind of leans in and looks at you very closely.
That would be. Let's see. What was it? Deception?
Yeah.
32.
Okay. Another interested buyer. He turns to Mr. Snibley. What do you think of that? And the cat. And he says, well, the most I'm authorized to offer for any particular item is 25. And this is a legendary item, so it is worth that.
Can we roll like a intelligence check to have any kind of like idea of how much this would be worth?
You really don't have a clue. It's way beyond the pale.
Okay.
Evelyn's like, well,
it's ridiculous.
the
The most expensive garment you've ever seen up to this point, Evelyn, was probably like 150 gold pieces.
Okay.
And Strix just said a lot, and she doesn't know what money is. So
Evelyn's like, just one more thing to consider.
You know, before, I mean, it is Paulton's cloak, so ultimately you guys have to come to the agreement. But just one thing to consider, there is kind of a celebrity element, like an influencer element that's going on. That Manchun did wear this cloak, so there is a certain prestige. So it's not just the item, it's kind of like the idea, you know? Just a thought.
It's like, well, and the other thing is the other offer was technically for 25, so it's like kind of right on there, but and I don't know their entire like their hookup system or like their product placement, but they also did offer they're kind of a distributor of like wine and various things, so it was 25 plus, you know, a very, very heavy discount.
I also just wonder if Jim Dark Magic would be like offended if you underpaid for this item, because, you know, he wouldn't want to wear it thinking like with people thinking you got it on the cheap. So I just want to make sure that you're like giving us a fair market price for your own sake as well.
Or if this was even an item that Jim Dark Magic would be absolutely furious was passed up, even if he found out that this item was, you know, being sold in Waterdeep and it fell into someone's hands that weren't his.
Because I'll certainly, you know, like talk to him about it when I see him.
Flabbergast will look at the garment again, turn to Mr. Snibley and say, well, as you say, you have received a competitive offer, and, well, you know, it would be bad for our reputation to not be competitive. So, I suppose we could dig into the reserves and gather up 30,000.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 50, because I just wouldn't want people thinking
50?
that, like, hacking doesn't have any money.
50,000?
Yeah. I mean,
he goes pale. My dear, if I were to buy this for 50,000, I would most surely lose my job.
Well, I wouldn't want
course,
that.
we don't want that at all. Wait,
No.
let's consult first. And can you give us a quick moment, please?
You go off into a corner. You see that he becomes increasingly nervous the longer you stay away from him.
So like we go into the corner, I'm just like,
And he's having a chat with his cat.
just like, all right, I'm totally cool with 30K, but I'm just gonna like pretend I'm talking to you and just like okay, like I'm gonna.
Maybe we could ask him to throw in like a bottle of wine or something. Do you want a bottle of wine?
You know, I have a private inheritance and there's some money tucked away in there. I'm sure we can put some of that into this and I'll consider it a gift, a birthday gift for Jim. 50,000, you say? Done.
Like, don't,
Oh my God.
Don't look just yet. Don't look just yet. Now
I'm trying not to look.
he's like,
That's a lot of money.
I'll take it.
Keith would be so proud.
I'll take it for 50,000. 50K, 50 big ones.
so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna count to 3, and we're look over to him judgingly, like we just said something, and then don't really say anything. Just turn back and pretend we're like still talking.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay, well then you just keep watching. And I'm like talking. I just turned to him, just like,
I feel so bad. I can't do this anymore.
You see, he's kind of pacing a little bit and biting his thumb and talking to himself and talking to Mr. Snibbly.
Maybe we should just give him the cloak.
All right, we'll go for 50K gold. That work? Okay.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
50,000 gold, you say?
Yes. I believe that's fair. Truly.
I wouldn't want Jim to go without a birthday present.
That's very true. After all, we all love Jim, don't we?
I'm sure we will.
Mm-hmm. I know nothing of this Jim, but I only hear good things, and we just
haven't heard one.
heard many, many things about this Jim.
I've never met him, but I'm sure he's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Probably real good at magic too.
You know what? I think we can part with it for 55K.
Tia's gone.
I'm dying.
When
All
he
right.
does that, Evelyn squeaks.
You see, Flabbergast, he tries to say something, and the words just don't come out of his mouth. And then he says,
Paulton,
I will,
it's okay.
I will have to think it over.
Paulton, I'll cover the extra 5.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what? That's fair. We'll do a little pitch in for Mr.
Yeah,
Burton.
because I want this to be from us to Jim as well.
That's true. He does deserve that.
Yeah.
It's not
Fine.
from us.
Fine. 50K from you. If you want to call that a deal, we'd be more than happy.
I will have someone come by your place to sign the paperwork.
Fantastic. Can we shake on it?
Yes, he will shake your hand.
All right, great.
And he'll take your address, and you can expect someone to come by. There's all kinds of paperwork and a contract that is an exchange contract that's signed, all that kind of business. Drawn insists upon it. Lord Drawn.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. You
All
have
right.
been
And
so delightful.
somewhere in the multiverse, Omen is having a bit of a heart attack right now. He doesn't know why.
Please tell me that Jim's actually going to get this robe.
I sure hope so. All right. So right now, until the deal is signed, you keep the robe and you take it with you. You leave Acquisitions Inc. and you, having basically agreed to a handshake deal, believe that this is resolved, head back home to find Strix, Diath.
Like as we're like really quick as we're leaving now, it's just like thank you very much. It was good negotiating with you. And as soon as they close the door, I'm just like, oh my god,
We're gonna fix our house so good. And we're gonna make it better. Do you think we could add like more turrets?
totally.
Oh my gosh, can I have a trampoline?
So
Probably.
what state are the two of you in when you walk in the front door and Strix and Diath see you?
I think we look really smug. Like we're like,
I'm totally holding the cloak like over, just like, oh hey.
What did you
Oh.
accomplish?
You had a nice time, didn't you?
Oh, we just, we were just trying to fundraise for our family, and
Bye.
I think we did an okay job.
By this time, Jarlaxle has already left. So
Aw.
you're even more pleased, Paulton, to see Jarlaxle is nowhere to be seen.
Evelyn Diath has a baby for you.
Strix.
Oh, there's
No.
always room for one more.
No, there isn't a baby. God.
I'm
Look.
just kidding. I know it's not a baby. I'm sorry.
All right. But Evelyn, can I go talk to you?
Oh, okay. But we have news. Do you want to hear it first?
Yeah, tell us the news first, real quick.
Sure.
You want to tell him? Should I tell him? You tell him.
It's your cloak.
Oh, but you tell him. You were so good. You did great.
We sold the cloak.
We sold the cloak for 50K.
Wow!
That's
Is
perfect.
that a big number?
50,000 gold.
That's an incredible amount.
It's so good. It's gonna go straight to the house, and we're gonna upgrade it. Everything's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be
We
great.
only
It's
need
gonna go
Strix, we
toward-
can have a new bed, and we can
No,
make
we only need
all the
2,500. I like sleeping on the floor.
Well, guess what? There will be so much more floor now. We could
Yeah,
add
yeah,
another
We can
floor.
make a room with a floor that's just a bed.
We could add another house on the house.
Let's put a house on the house on the house.
Let's do it.
It's awesome. You guys did a great job.
Thanks, Diaz. Okay, we can go talk.
All right. Let's go. We'll go talk to you in your room. It's the only one that's left.
I don't have a room.
No, yeah, Strix is the only one that's left. You have to
Right.
go to Strix's room.
Strix, can we borrow your room?
Yes, of course. It's all of our room now.
You guys go talk. Me and Strix are going to celebrate. Do we have champagne? I feel like we should have champagne.
No, we don't.
Well, we can afford champagne now. So how about, Strix, you and me, let's go buy some champagne, yeah? Somewhere's
All
got to
right.
be open. I don't think
Okay.
this is Waterdeep a dry county? I doubt it. We
No,
could-
I'll go with you. Just
Paulton, make a perception check.
Oh, good. Just when everything's coming up, Paulton. Perception check. 17?
Okay. Carry on.
Great. That's my
So
favorite.
let's go
that's my
buy
favorite
champagne.
kind
It's
of
going to be
DM
great.
rolls.
It's going to be great. Let's go.
All right.
All right. You head out to get some champagne, leaving Dieth and Evelyn upstairs in Strix's room.
Dieth will like close the door behind him for privacy and kind of motion Evelyn to sit on the bed. Meanwhile, Dieth still has like his packs and like carrying things. Evelyn, I realize we haven't really gotten a chance to really talk in a long time. And there was something that you said to me once that's always really stuck with me. And I wanted you to know that I've always been thinking about it, and it wasn't something that I ever forgot. A long time ago, you had told me that I was really good at taking a lot of broken things and keeping them together. And I don't always feel that I do. I do my best. I mean, look at the house. But I try. But another thing, Evelyn, is that I do want to keep everything together. And it's important for everything to be whole. And I know for a long time now, you haven't been whole. And I wanted to make sure that you were. And Dieth like removes the cloak and shows off the reforged Lightfall.
When you see this weapon that you haven't seen intact since it shattered in Iron Slag, there's a kinship to it, but reflected in its axe blades just briefly are your parents' faces.
Dieth will kind of like walk over to Evelyn and basically kind of go down to one knee to kind of present this weapon and just say, this has always been a part of you, and you've been far away from it for far too long. But Evelyn, I also want you to know, this is but a tool. The one thing that can strike through the darkness has always been the light within you. And you'll hand her Lightfall. No, you're muted.
What?
So
No?
you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. You know, Evelyn is usually very fast to act and bubbly, but you see she's overcome, and you see her hands slowly start reaching toward the axe. But then what Dieth just said to her really sinks in, and she looks him in the face and reaches over Lightfall to just wrap him in a giant hug and says, "You're the best friend I ever had, and I'm so thankful for you."
Oh, and Dieth gives her a big hug back.
And she holds that for a while, and then she's like, "Woo!" And she's taking the axe, and she's like spinning it all around. She's like,
In Strix's bedroom.
she like whacks it against the wall. Ha!
Yeah, Strix's things are flying everywhere.
And that's where we'll stop.
Still worried about that perception check.
I don't know what it's worth for the perception check, but I was holding the fucking cloak. Saying, never put it down.
All right, we will be back next week for an all-new episode of Dice Camera Action, but does anybody have any announcements before we part?
Then I was crying the second I even heard Lightfall at the beginning of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise!
Oh, happy birthday to me!
Yeah, it's got some new superpowers too, which we'll find out about next week.
Dude, and the whole mom to guide your hand, dad to guide your heart is so congruent with Evelyn's backstory. I was like fangirling. Anyway, announcements.
Planning that for a long time.
Oh my gosh, you're the best, Jared. I love you. Announcements. I will be in Vancouver, British Columbia on Saturday for the Twitch community meetup in Vancouver. So if you live in Vancouver and you are a Twitch fan or streamer, please come by and say hi.
And I guess this is more of a personal thing for me, but a lot of people have been asking, but I've started doing my own streams. For those of you who are interested, I'm actually going to be streaming in like an hour, and it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of DCA talk in the chat, and it's been cool, like talking over stuff like away from everyone else. So it's been fun. So come hang out, Nathan Sharp Official. Yeah, it'll be cool.
And can we discuss any future events at this moment?
Oh, yeah, why not?
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
You want to go?
Yeah, you do it.
We'll be at PAX East!
Hey!
Chris will not be joining us, unfortunately. We will miss him dearly, but we do have a lot of stuff on the books, all the regular stuff, signings, panels, probably a live episode, though we have yet to figure out the format, so stay tuned for that. But if you are coming to PAX East, you will have opportunities to see us, and we'll be bringing our Waffle Crew merch again if you haven't been able to get your hands on that as well. So we hope to see you there.
Also, what I've got coming up is next week, Wednesday on March 6th. Once again, Diath will be making a guest appearance over on the Acquisitions Incorporated C team over on Penny Arcade.
His favorite place.
His favorite place.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be perfect. You can ask about the cloak.
So
I'm going to be sending an email to Jerry right after this about that.
That's honestly a really big buff for Jim.
That's a huge buff for Jim.
Like that's
And
a
it's
huge
also
buff.
Yeah,
Faith
he's needed
Omen
it because he
for all
sucks so
them
bad. Am I
money.
right?
He does. Yeah, I mean honestly he does.
Yeah, so not tomorrow, but next week, Wednesday, March 6th, I'll be over there. I'll give you another reminder next week as well, but you can watch it live. It'll be super fun.
Yep. Unless, of course, you die in next week's episode, in which case it will
Right,
be slightly less fun.
This is what I told him. I was
Just
like,
keeping us on our toes.
That's always the risk with these crossovers, right? You never know.
I did tweet at Jerry to let him to say thanks and happy birthday to Jim. So
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
And we got a subreddit spamming that link.
Boy.
All right. If that's all the announcements, then we'll call it for quits for the week, and we'll see you all next week. And until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.